One of the best Hulk scenes the MCU has produced came from an ad, not from any MCU movie, and I can't quite get my head around it. It is a commonly held belief that Hulk has been somewhat underserved by the MCU, with just one solo movie under his belt to fully flesh out the otherwise incredibly compelling character duo that is Hulk and Bruce Banner. Hulk is instead confined to Avengers movies and the solo ventures of other characters like Thor and his cousin, Jennifer Walters. Worse still is the fact that Savage Hulk was sidelined as of Avengers: Infinity War, after being summarily pummeled by Thanos aboard the Statesman. Hulk retreated from the MCU out of either fear or shame, with the Savage Hulk persona still being sidelined in favor of Bruce Banner's. Now Smart Hulk feels confined to more cerebral matters, with his greatest scene in his last cinematic appearance, Avengers: Endgame, arguably being the moment he blipped everybody back to life. Now we may never get to see Hulk engaging in one of his iconic rampages again. The Hulk's rampages were historically the best scenes in his MCU story. These moments showcased Hulk's superpowers. Some of Savage Hulk's most defining scenes in the MCU were his rampages. The Avengers and Avengers: Age of Ultron were at least filled with these scenes, with Hulk laying waste to an army of Chitauri, a Leviathan, and Loki in the Avengers alone. Meanwhile, the dangers Hulk poses to both civilization and his superhero teammates were laid bare in Avengers: Age of Ultron, when Wanda Maximoff warped his mind to provoke a rampage through Johannesburg, allowing Iron Man to debut his Hulkbuster. Banner is also a valuable asset to the Avengers for his genius. The fact that two of his greatest feats, creating Ultron and time travel, both required the help of Tony Stark, shows that this isn't exactly the main thing he brings to the table. This is where Hulk demonstrates what makes him such a formidable part of the team. While Bruce Banner is also a valuable asset to the Avengers for his genius, the fact that two of his greatest feats, creating Ultron and time travel, both required the help of Tony Stark, shows that this isn't exactly the main thing he brings to the table. Instead, Hulk's combined strength and no-holds-barred brutality have always been a unique selling point for the character. One of the Hulk's last MCU rampages showed up where you might least expect it. Hulk and Ant-Man starred in an ad for Coca-Cola back in 2016. Coca-Cola partnered with Marvel Studios for an ad. In it, a suited-up Ant-Man sneaks into Bruce Banner's lab to steal a small can of Coke. This provokes Hulk into emerging before proceeding to chase Ant-Man through the city streets and threatening him into returning the drink. The ad then ends with Hulk struggling to open the can with his giant hands, before Ant-Man offers his aid. Sure, the ad is short and sweet, but I have to admit that the short action sequence featuring Hulk makes me feel nostalgic for a time when this was the norm for the Jade Giant. The ad showcases him achieving such characteristic feats as super jumping and clinging to the sides of buildings, and concludes with a humorous moment where Hulk's size and impatience see him struggle with the process of opening a can, highlighting his childish persona. Now I miss the days of Savage Hulk even more. I can't believe the MCU's Coca-Cola ad was one of the last pre-Smart Hulk looks we got reappear properly in one more movie. The Coca-Cola ad was released in 2016, a year after Avengers: Age of Ultron and 1 year before Thor: Ragnarok. The latter would be the last time that Savage Hulk would be spotlighted, with his next appearance in Avengers: Infinity War being as brief as it was humiliating. This means that this ad, which spotlights Hulk at the height of his Avengers career, was one of the last times that we got to enjoy seeing Savage Hulk in all his glory on screen. Smart Hulk has now been a part of the MCU for 6 years and hasn't been nearly as active as his predecessor. While She-Hulk, Attorney-at-Law, teased a return in the future with the arrival of Hulk's son Scar, Mark Ruffalo was worryingly excluded from the Avengers Doomsday cast announcement. Not only do I hope that this will soon be rectified by an additional cast announcement down the line, but I also hope that this will herald a return for the Savage Hulk persona, granting him at least one last rampage before he potentially steps aside after a rumored MCU soft reboot.